You know what I like doing? Talking about things that I enjoy. You know what I don't like? Editing YouTube videos where I talk about things that I enjoy. So, I figured, there's this project that came up on my radar, and their characters are out, so I thought I'd talk about that so I don't have to edit the Damien video, or... Fuck me, this one's gonna be hard. So real quick, we're gonna talk about all the lovely little characters you see on screen, and maybe one or two that aren't. Let's get into it. So fun fact, I'm actually so bad at editing that I actually couldn't properly format the character portraits. So I hope you like the Savannah background, because you're going to be seeing a lot of it. In the meantime, let's properly begin the video. Exotic Escapades was a project that I came across naturally when looking through YouTube. Okay, that's a complete lie. Someone mentioned me in the Discord server, and I got really curious and I wanted to check it out. Nevertheless, after spending some time on the Discord server and hearing how much the fanbase really wants to fuck the characters, I thought it might be worth going through the casts and giving my own thoughts on them. Starting with Alice Valentine. Alice likes to do normal things, build normal things, and was put into a psych ward for normal reasons. If she were a real person, those would most certainly be red flags, but since she isn't, I can rest easy knowing that she's probably going to be a fun character. Every TD project has their own resident crazy bitch. You got your Izzies, your Gabbies, your... Winonas, I guess. Do we want to acknowledge that Winona ever even existed? Because I personally do not. Now initially, Alice may seem like someone who'd flame out very easily and end up as an early boot, and while that's certainly possible, I have a feeling she's not going to be that predictable. Her character bio describes her as an eccentric girl with a creative mind, high energy, and highly reactionary. So I'm like 90% sure that she's autistic, and I'm sticking with that headcanon until proven otherwise. I feel weird saying this about the first character, but she genuinely feels like a wild card. Her main traits seem to be her eccentric attitude and her aptitude for inventing. What exactly she'll be making, we don't know yet, but it's probably something dangerous, and I imagine it'll lead to her getting into trouble. I think Alice is going to be really fun, and while I have her predicted as a pre-merger, I think she could really go anywhere. Up next is Beatriz Lim Tan. When I was going through the list of characters, I initially didn't give Beatriz much thought, but upon reading her bio, I came to some very interesting conclusions. This woman has very fleshed out hobbies. Black belt in karate, professional tea tester, fan of visual novels. These could very well just be fun facts that won't affect the actual season in any way, but already I get the vibe that Beatriz is very well versed in numerous fields, and that'll probably help her in the show. She's described as a woman with a fiery soul hidden by her soft exterior. She's also dating Carter, who's another character we'll talk about later. For that reason alone, I think she's got plenty of longevity, and I think she's likely to merge. I imagine Beatriz will probably be one of the straight men, or in this case, straight women, of the group. Someone more grounded to balance off the chaos of the rest of the cast. And I think she could very well be this season's leading lady, but we'll have to see where that goes. Hugo Blitz Bauer. Oh dear God! Good God, why is this man so pale? Golly Moses, get this poor boy some sunscreen. He's gonna fry out there. Blitz is an interesting one. To my knowledge, he's like the third most popular character so far, and goddamn, where'd that come from? My expectations for Blitz are not very high. I feel like he's gonna be another Ripper/Max type of character where he constantly makes an ass out of himself and makes jokes that don't land. I also have a feeling that several people are going to woobify him a la Nagito Kamaeda, and I really wouldn't care for that. Now, I could be wrong. Blitz could very well exceed my expectations and be a really enjoyable character. I went into the TDI reboot thinking that the Hockey Bros were gonna be annoying jocks, and they ended up as two of my favorite characters, so maybe our boy Blitzy has some tricks up his sleeve. But as of right now, I feel he's probably gonna go early, but I could see him being pushed as the main comic relief character, but I hope that's not the case. Because there are two other characters who, from the offset, I believe could do this way better. But yeah, that's Blitz. Okay, up next is Bud. Bud looks like he's gonna be the British Z. Kind heart, head in the clouds, probably a little bit high. He's just here to vibe, I'm guessing. I feel like he's gonna be a funny character for like the 2 episodes he's in, but unfortunately I think he's a very strong first boot candidate. Again, I could be wrong, but neither his community tab nor his character bio describe any hidden skills that he has, just going on about how he's a sweet guy, but also kind of a dummy. And I love dummies, so I'll probably love Bud, but this cast has a lot of dummies, and unfortunately I think Bud is the one most likely to be cut early. Carter McCarthy is coming in next with the hottest drip so far. Tall, confident, owns a motorcycle. Either this guy is the world's biggest fraud or he's got a good run ahead of him. As stated before, he and Beatriz are dating, which means they've probably got a little while before they actually have to worry about elimination. His bio also makes a point about how much he loves his motorcycle, so I predict he's going to have at least one exchange that's kind of like that one Ben 10 meme.
Look, Gwen, you have to treat a car like you treat a woman.
Go on.
No, I sense I've made a mistake of some kind.
Carter is also described as overconfident and self-indulgent, so he could definitely get himself into trouble. My bold prediction is that he's gonna get eliminated in the early merge, and that'll serve as Beatriz's motivation to push forward. Either that or the 2 break up because Carter realizes that his true love was the motorcycle. Honestly, either or. I think it's 50-50. I don't think he'll be a big strategic threat or anything, probably leaning more on the physical side of things, but I feel like he'll be a fun character to watch for however long he competes for. Dahlia, like Carter and Beatriz, also has a pre-existing relationship with another cast member, that being Daisy, the character we're gonna look at next. Minor spoilers for her, but I'm guessing that it's going to be a Heather and Lindsay type of relationship where Dahlia is being strung along by Daisy and just sorta deals with it. What worries me is that she doesn't seem to have any apparent flaws, at least not yet, and I'm worried she may skew towards the Sammy trajectory, and that's not good for anyone.
What about when I'm a victim of meaningless violence?
I think she's going to be pretty boring, but she does have plenty to work with. She seems very intelligent, if a bit of a pushover. Oh wow, she just like me for real. So I think she and Daisy will have a fun dynamic. As for where she places, I have no idea. I don't see her going super far, but I doubt she'd go early in the pre-merge, so this one's up in the air.
In South Korea, it is pronounced as Hyeong.
Daisy Hyeong is Heather. I mean, look at her, look at this description. This is not a coincidence. They're either sisters or cousins or somehow they are related, and I think Daisy's got a good shot at being the season's main villain because of that. Well, and her dynamic with Dahlia. I also think that she could be a good red herring, because maybe the crew behind EE are thinking, hey, maybe we use the fact that she's just like Heather for real to subvert expectations. And then Bud becomes the main villain.
Oh, Anna. If only there was someone out there who loved you.
What?
Now that'd be exciting. Contrasting Dahlia, Daisy does not have a single positive trait listed anywhere on either her community post or on the character Bible, which actually tells me a lot less than I thought, god damn it. I genuinely believe Daisy could have any plot in the world, and it all depends on how mean she is. And because we don't know the extent of that, I'm gonna go with context clues to piece things together. There's another character similar to Daisy later in the roster, and she seems very similar, or just more objectively a bad person, so I think Daisy could low-key have a redemption arc if she plays her cards right. I imagine she's gonna get, like, all the TikTok edits made of her, so I hope she's good enough to warrant them. Duke Desalvo is so obviously an early boot, it's not even funny. I doubt they'd make the plus-size guy the first boot, but come on, there's nothing positive about him anywhere. When I read any of his lines, I keep imagining Ripper's voice, and that's not a good sign. I don't particularly care for characters like this, so I don't particularly care for Duke. I do hope the EE crew will surpass my expectations, but I don't mind either way. This dude's just kinda whatever. Nah, I'm fucking with you. If someone deadass pronounces his name like that, I'm gonna find you and strangle you. Right off the bat, Ian comes off as the smart guy of the cast, similar to characters like Noah and Alec. I feel like he's gonna be a huge asshole, and probably force his idea of leadership on the people around him. You just know he was the kid that reminded the teacher that they had homework the previous day and got his ass beat for it. I know this because I was that kid. Not anymore though. Now I'm the popular girl, judging by all the thirsty comments I keep getting. And I think Ian can relate, seeing as he's currently the most reacted to character in the Discord. Whoever ends up voicing this character, whether that be someone in the Discord or me, because I auditioned for him, really needs to make sure that he has a good vocal performance, because someone like him could very easily slip through the cracks if he doesn't have a good voice and good writing behind him. But I'm gonna give Ian the benefit of the doubt and say he ends up merging. I think he's got a lot of potential, and I can't wait to see what he's like in the series. Hiro Terasaka is next, and I am deeply worried about him. All signs point to Hiro being this very soft-spoken, gentle soul who just wants everyone to get along. And that's fine, although it does open up the possibility that he drifts close to the Rosa Maria Paragon of Virtue template, which I really don't like. The one thing that eases my concerns is that in his character bio, it says that he can be competitive. And my personal hope is that this is expanded on as a notable character flaw. I don't want any, "Aw shucks, I really thought we had that one. I'm really angry now, grr." No, I want his team to lose a challenge and for him to throw a fit. He doesn't have to, like, punch anyone, but I think the guy who seems to be the quietest and sweetest of the cast being the biggest sore loser would make for really good drama. There are 3 things all wise men fear: the sea in storm, a night with no moon, and the anger of a gentle man. A really sweet guy with some inner darkness is exactly what I'm hoping for. I think if that's the route EE staff goes down, he's got a good chance of making it really far. Again, though, I could just be reading too much into this one little character trait, but I do hope I'm right on this one. Hiro has a lot of potential. God damn it, I already did this joke. Kaison Kekoa. Oh man, I'm excited to talk about him. Remember when I said this cast had a lot of dummies? Well, that's true, but they're not dumb in the same way. Bud is stoner dumb. Duke has an IQ of 165 for some reason, but he's gonna do some dumb shit, let's be real. Kaison is the state-mandated himbo of the cast. Not too bright, big heart, surfer bro voice type, he is pure vibes incarnate. And if Jeff can get 6th place, then I have no doubt that Kaison's ready for a deep run. Out of all the comedic characters in the cast, I think he's the one with the most longevity. He's a big guy, probably good at challenges. I imagine he'll get hit a whole bunch, but that, coupled with his good vibes attitude, is probably gonna take him pretty far. Me personally, I love me some himbos, and I'd really like for him to stick around for a long time. The dude is clearly popular, it'd be a shame not to use him to his fullest. Of all the silly, dumb characters in the cast so far, he's probably my 2nd favorite behind one man, whom we will get to very soon. Oh, goody goody gumdrops, that one'll be fun. But first we gotta tackle Kara Miller, and I'm gonna make a bold prediction here. 3rd boot. She and Daisy seem like they're going to be very similar characters, so I don't see both of them making it far. And between the two, one of them has pre-existing ties to another cast member, so Kara's not looking so good. But with the way she's being portrayed and how we expect total drama villains to be, her initial first impression may paint her as a potential main villain, and that in turn would make her a brilliant red herring. Given how completely awful she seems to be, and my subjective opinion that she doesn't seem very game savvy, I don't think her merging is super likely. The one thing that makes me think otherwise is that she's set to put on emotional masks, so maybe they'll do something with that? It's a very interesting detail, and not one that I think they just throw onto the character bio. One possibility I see for her is a redemption arc, or maybe everyone else just finds out that she's been faking being evil this whole time and is actually not that bad, something like that. I'm not fully sure. For now, she's another wild card. You know who's not a wild card? Levi Oni. Levi's a shy farm boy who don't got much to say. He listens to rock music in the dark, and boy howdy, he sure don't like those poisonous potatoes. He's just a kind southern gentleman who works on the farm and blah 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 blah. This dude is boring. Call it personal preference, but I'm not a big fan of southern characters who essentially boil down to farm boy or farm girl. Allison had that problem too, which is why I'm not super big on her, and Levi honestly seems like he might be worse. So fun fact, I was initially going to audition for him because I'm southern and I can do the accent, but I opted out of it last second because his lines are so goddamn boring. I'm not the biggest fan of how this community handles southern characters, and while I'm not offended or anything, I do hope that Levi has more depth to him than just farmhand. I would be absolutely delighted if he turns out to be a really good character, which I think he can be, but as is, I'd also be equally delighted if he was the first boot and I didn't have to think about him anymore. With 20 characters, at least one of them is gonna strike out, and for me that's Levi. He's honestly the only character I view in a negative light so far, and I'm hoping that the EE team can change my mind. He does have pretty cool drip though, I will give him that. Molly Gutierrez is up next, and immediately, oh my god, I love her design so much. I haven't been talking about the character designs up to this point, so I just quickly want to say that every character in this cast, barring maybe one, has a fantastic design. My favorite of the guys is Kaison, and for the ladies, my favorite is definitely Molly. I think her dress looks really nice, her hair is absolutely adorable, and her orange jacket brings the whole design together. Whoever designed her character should be proud because she looks really good. Her bio describes her as an environmentalist, which worries me since characters with that profession usually don't get far in these shows. I'm really hoping that Molly is the exception though, because I feel like she has the potential to be a really deep character while still being very fun to watch. As of right now, Molly's currently my favorite and the character I most want to win, although I doubt it'll happen. Karolina Montes. This is Sanders. Everything about Montes it's Sanders. And a little bit of Brick too, but like there's a whole lot of Sanders in here. A responsible girl with a strong moral compass? Sanders. Speaks to the point? That's Sanders. All around considerate to others, but will call out behavior she deems immoral? Long-winded, but you best believe that's fucking Sanders. I don't think Montes is gonna be a one-to-one of Sanders, and despite how mean I might sound right now, I'm really not bashing Montes for how similar she is to Sanders. Keep in mind, for every single one of these characters, I'm only going off the basic information that we have so far, which really isn't that much. But based on what little information we have on Montes, I can't say I'm super excited for her. I could easily see her annoying her team with her Girl Scout attitude, which could lead to an early elimination. I don't really see her going far, although I believe she can work as a short-term character, so long as she's given enough character weight to stand on her own. Not super thrilled about her, but hey, we'll see what happens. Now, this next character right here, easily the least popular character thus far. He's got the least role reacts in the Discord server, everyone seems to hate what he's about. And if you ask me, that's a damn shame. Because motherfucking Nathan Vaughn is one of my favorites from this cast so far. Now I hear what you're saying, but Lexi, Nathan seems like such a douchebag. How could this guy be one of your favorites? And the answer to that is quite simple. I love cartoonishly evil douchebag characters like this. Adam, Ghostface, fucking Hummer guy. Characters like these can be really funny if the writers just go all in on them, which is what I hope they do for my boy Natty V. Tragically, I don't see him making it very far. Believe me, I want nothing more than for Nathan to be a prominent or central character, but the odds are not in his favor. He has so much plot potential. He could be Kaison's ultimate rival, starting off as friends only for Kaison to realize how much of a dick Nathan is. This could teach Kaison a lesson about how he needs to use his hot person powers for good instead of evil, and treat women with respect. Nathan's also a Florida man, so he's gotta get involved in some whack-ass shenanigans. I want to see Nathan completely shit on the rest of the cast, maybe crash his car into several other cars in an act of vehicular manslaughter, or fuck it, hit on a girl and then freak out once she reveals she's gay. And obviously, he should get his comeuppance for these things, but I think that'd be fun to watch. As I said, Nathan's probably an early boot, but I think the potential for this character is sky high, and I'm going to stand him to the end regardless of how he places. Pamela Paquette is a representation of the cold reality of our modern-day workforce. A commentary on how Gen Z has been left to inherit a ruined world and suffer the consequences of old dudes fucking around for decades on end. She's so cute, I love her design. This woman is not well, and I fear for her physical well-being. All that caffeine is likely to lead to a nasty crash if Levi doesn't bore her to death first. Aside from Beatriz, I think Pamela is the most likely person to be the main character. She's on that hashtag relatable grind set, and I imagine she'll bounce off the rest of the cast really easily. I feel like she'd get along really well with Hiro and Molly while having some personal gripes with some of the sillier characters in the cast, like Duke and Bud. And you cannot tell me that she, Kara, and Daisy aren't all mortal enemies. That just writes itself. I think Pamela's going to be around for a while. I doubt she'll, win, but late merge is where I think she's rocking. The last contestant we have to go over is Shirley Rossi. Shirley is a self-confident fashion blogger who doesn't take shit from anyone. She is also actively anticipating to get TikTok edits, so that's something. Jokes aside, I don't hate TikTok edits, but I really do not like TikTok stan culture. This isn't everyone, of course, but there are a lot of people who frequently idolize people and characters who are really just rude to people for no reason, and yet somehow those people get tons of edits made out of them because fuck, I don't know. You know, if I wanted to, I can make an edit of a problematic character. But I don't want to, so I had Cam do it for me. Check it.
Yes, once I acquire the third part of the God Sphere, I will shed my mortality and save my own life. In that case, Chuck, kill Jake from Subway Surfers.
You know I'm the type to risk my life, not afraid to die, type to make you cry, type to put a price all up on your head, do just what I said. Change your roll the dice, you know I'm the type to risk my life, not afraid to die, type to make you cry, type to put a price all up on your head, do just what I said.
You're probably wondering why Ferdinand from the Blue Sky animated movie Ferdinand was in that edit. And moreover, you're probably wondering what he did to be so problematic. I think Shirley could be a really good parody of this type of culture. I don't want Shirley to be a hashtag girlboss queen who has all the quotable one-liners and all the edits. No. I want her to be someone who tries to be that person and fails miserably. I want her to bust her ass trying to be the most iconic character in the show, and I want her to keep failing at it. Dare I say, I want her to be Nichelle. But given the character weight and time for her full comedic potential to blossom. If this is somehow what the EE crew decides to do with her, easy top 3, no question. I think that'd be so funny. Otherwise, if she ends up being played straight as one of these TikTok edit characters, then well, we'd have 3 of those. On the offset, these 3 all seem pretty similar, so I hope when the series comes out properly, there'll be enough to differentiate the 3 of them. In the meantime, I'm gonna be optimistic and hope that Shirley is secretly a loser deep down. Okay, host time! Stella Beauregard is one of the 2 hosts of Exotic Escapade and the one that I'm most looking forward to. She's clearly meant to be similar to Chris and Toad from Total Drama in the sense that she's got a lot of bravado and a sick desire to see people suffering. But given that she's a woman from the South, that just sort of tracks. Dante likewise seems to be the straight man of the 2. Evidently he's going to be the glue that holds Stella's operation together and probably suffers a lot of headache along the way. I think these 2 are going to be a very fun dynamic who don't take themselves too seriously and raise hell while they're here. There is also this mystery character who has little to no information about him. He's probably some kind of criminal though, so I'm quickly going to write my own backstory for him. Josiah T. Brownstone was born to 2 blue-collar parents in the heart of Detroit, where every day was a struggle. While the wealthy elite lived comfortably in their mansions, sipping tea and peppering their meals with gold, Josiah never had it easy. As a boy, his parents worked tirelessly to support their household, and yet they could only afford the bare minimum. Oftentimes, Josiah would arrive home from school to see both of his parents passed out in the living room, worked to the bone from their tiring jobs, and forcing Josiah to make himself dinner each and every night. Most children weren't as self-sufficient as Josiah. They never had to be. Their parents had white-collar jobs that allowed them to buy whatever new toys their darling children wanted. But Josiah? The poor kid was lucky to receive a single gift for his birthday, and usually a cheap one at that. But this harsh upbringing instilled in Josiah the value of hard work, and he would use that to his advantage. Years passed, and after a long and tedious journey through high school, Josiah landed himself at a high-end marketing firm, where for the first time in his life, he truly felt in his element. Josiah had always been a quiet kid, but as an adult, pitching ideas and reveling in the praise of his co-workers, he was a beacon of confidence. And yet behind Josiah's bright eyes and winning smile lied something different. Something that he made sure to keep hidden from anyone who would dare get close to him. Because despite Josiah's success, he still held on to that bitterness in his heart that had been there since he was young. A hatred towards those who were dealt an easier hand than he was. I just don't get it! Why is it that some people get to live their lives to the fullest, while I'm left to work myself to the bone? These were the thoughts that would plague Josiah's mind, day in and day out. And it was in between these musings that Josiah uncovered a group of people who he deemed to be the worst representation of this imbalance. Reality TV celebrities. The fact that these people would so carelessly throw around these massive cash prizes for the sake of entertainment arose something in Josiah that he himself could not understand. And so, he made a plan. If the world was going to keep his life of luxury away from him, then he would take it by force, and he would do so from the shadows, in the bushes, keeping out of sight for the most part, but just barely remaining noticeable enough to keep the contestants worried and on edge. Josiah was long gone, replaced by a man driven by a single goal: to obliterate the corporate ladder. That man's name? Joe. Joe from marketing. He could also just be some guy, we don't know. So those are my initial impressions on the Exotic Escapade cast. Obviously the season isn't out yet, so my opinions will probably change once it is. I just thought it'd be fun to document my initial impressions and hopes for these characters ahead of time. I also thought it'd be a quick and easy video to make, and oh my god, it's half an hour long! Oh boy, I've got a tough road ahead of me with these next few videos. If you want to help me out with that, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help me out, and I greatly appreciate it. If you want to follow Exotic Escapade, I've linked their socials in the description, including their YouTube, Twitter, and Discord server. Tell them Lexi sent ya. But also be respectful. The EE team have been working incredibly hard on this project so far, and they deserve all the support in the world. With that said, that'll be the end of this video. I still don't have an outro, so I'm just gonna end it here. Have a great day, everyone.